Okay, right, champ. In this video, we're talking about reality creation, the science of manifestation. Yeah, I said it, manifestation, right? It's like saying Voldemort. And look, this is an interesting topic for me because, to be honest, if you had asked me what I thought about that word, if I'd heard it 2 years ago, I would have said it was bullshit. But I've been a science guy my whole life, and I guess I kind of thought this thing was for fucking nutters. But since going balls deep on the 4 laws that we're going to talk about in this video 18 months ago, everything has changed for me. And it turns out I was right. It is indeed for nutters. The nutters who realize that they can control their destiny. Turns out this stuff is just the foundation for every single successful person ever. And I've seen the evidence now, because in the past 6 months, look, the dreams that I've had for over a decade, they've all been coming true. I've been traveling all over the world, meeting incredible creators and entrepreneurs. I recently moved into my dream riverside apartment here in London. I just bought my dream car and I'll be picking it up next week. And I just joined my dream gym a couple of months ago. I mean, I was literally doing curls next to Stormzy last week, which was fucking wild. My audience has blown up on Instagram after years of trying and getting nowhere. And here's what's truly rattled me, because 2 years ago, I was pretty much always 2 to 3 months behind on rent. And I was in about 30K's worth of debt. And there was a 4-month period of time where I couldn't afford food. I mean, I would literally run out of money when I'd go to get food at the shops. My card would get declined. And it was so bad, I was crying on Zoom calls with my business partners every time I had to basically beg them to release some cash from the business so that I could buy food. I knew something had to change, but what I didn't realize was how simple the changes I needed to make were. But I wish I had known them sooner. Because in the past 10 months, I've now made more money than in the past 10 years combined. That's a wild thing for me to say. And I just did the numbers last weekend and I've officially collected over $500,000 in cash in just the past 9 months. And look, I think that's pretty sick. If you want the exact system that I've used to track and implement all of this stuff, I've created this thing called the Creat OS Dashboard. It's a Notion dashboard. It's totally free and it walks you through this step-by-step process, and you can just grab it in the description down below. Okay, so here's my promise to you. In this video, I'm going to give you what I truly believe are the actual secrets to success. The core fundamental principles and laws that the most successful people in human history, they all know, they understand, and they put into practice every single day. And I've decided that they are secrets because I only fucking found out about them when I was 35. But they changed my life, and I know they'll change yours too. I'm also going to give you the 5 key books that I've read that helped me understand and put this stuff into practice last year. Okay, let's dive in. Right, first things first, let's actually define manifestation. So this is a definition from the Cambridge Dictionary, by the way. So manifestation refers to bringing specific desires, goals, or outcomes into reality through focused thoughts, beliefs, and actions. At the center of manifestation is the principle called the law of attraction. Now, the principle of the law of attraction suggests that positive or negative thoughts and energies attract corresponding experiences or circumstances into one's life. In dumbass simple terms, like attracts like, which in reality means you get what you think about. So let's go deep into the science here. Okay, so the foundation of all of this is your reticular activating system. Now, this is the first book that taught me all about this. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. This book changed everything because it introduced me to this bad boy called the reticular activating system, so the RAS. Now, this is a small part of your brainstem that actually acts as your filtering mechanism for how you operate in the world. So if you think about it, humans are just billions of nanosensors constantly taking in information through our eyes, ears, skin, taste, smell. Without the RAS filtering this information out, you'd live in a permanent state of complete fucking terror from sensory overload. But here's the kicker. The RAS is programmable. It is the gateway between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. And once you understand this, you can literally create and design your reality instead of just being a sheep, letting reality happen to you like everyone else. So here's a perfect example. It's called the new car effect. I just ordered a black Porsche Taycan. It's been on my vision board since January. And since putting it there, guess what? Every single car I see is a Porsche Taycan. Now, not every single car, obviously, but I see shitloads of them now because my RAS is now filtering and scanning for Porsche Taycans. Now, the same thing happens if I tell you right now, keep your eye out for red cars today. Your RAS is going to start scanning for red cars, and guess what? You're going to notice them everywhere, even though yesterday you wouldn't have seen a single one. This is because we are goal-seeking organisms. That's the fundamental part of this book. Our whole human design is to achieve a goal. And once you set that goal, your subconscious becomes a goal-seeking mechanism working 24/7 to get you there. Dr. Maxwell Maltz figured this shit out in the 1950s as a cosmetic surgeon. He could see how if they changed how they saw themselves internally, that actually changed their physical reality externally. So this book was written like in the 1950s, but it reads like it was written like a couple of years ago, not 70 years ago. This book is why I have 3 vision boards next to my desk right here. Now, the first one, that's stacked with people that I'm inspired by, creators, entrepreneurs. I'm sure you'll know many of their faces, and my face is now right next to theirs. The second has all of my goals on it. So 100K subs on YouTube, 200,000 followers on Instagram, 50,000 email subs, £1 million in the bank account. I've literally Canva shopped all of my stuff onto I used Canva to basically fake it, to make it look like it's real. And that's kind of where fake it till you make it comes from. You know, I've got my dream car there. I've ticked that off. I've got my gym that I've just joined, ticked that off, had that on there for like 2 years for my vision board. Yeah, I got the YouTube play button that's going to be behind me at some point soon. And then the third board, well, I'm going to leave that one up to your imagination. Because why does this work? If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Okay, so the first law that we're going to cover here is the law of rejection. Before you can program your RAS with what you want, you need to actually clear out the shit you don't want. So this is where the law of rejection comes in. Now, the master of the law of rejection was our Apple lad, Stevie J, Mr. Steve Jobs himself. I recently saw a clip from Diary of a CEO with Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, and he was talking about how he worked with Stevie J back in like the 80s or wherever. And I mean, he said he was brutal and pretty ruthless to work with, frankly, a bit of a dick, but he also said he was the absolute king of splitting signal to noise. So think of it like this. Imagine you've got like a bottle of like muddy water, okay? If you just pour clean water into the muddy water, you're just gonna make it a little less muddy, okay? But if you pour out all of the muddy water first and then replace it with clean water, you get crystal clear water. Now that's what Steve Jobs did with everything. He cut out all of the noise so that he could focus purely on signal. So what is the noise that you need to reject? So the first are energy vampires. These are people who suck the fucking life out of you. You need to stay away from these people like your life depends on it, because the truth is it does. Secondly, you need to get rid of limiting ideas from media and other people. So this is why I don't watch the news. Some serial killer in Australia, I'm in the UK, that has zero impact on my life. So why would I let that information into my brain? It's just noise. Third are the limiting beliefs. So these are the internal stories that you tell yourself about money being hard to get, about being in shape is not for you. You're not that type of person. Having amazing relationships is not in your destiny. All of that bullshit needs to go. And finally, you need to get your ass the fuck out of scarcity environments. So now for most people, this is usually being stuck in your hometown, okay? This is why the best move that you can make is to leave your hometown, because you'll immediately start meeting people that operate from different perspectives. And the book for this is called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. This will help you reject all of the self-sabotaging behaviors so that you can start the path of self-mastery. Okay, law number 2 is the law of emotion. Here's what most people get wrong about manifestation. They think thoughts drive action. That is wrong. Emotion drives action. Feeling drives action. Motivation isn't about mindset, it's about feeling. When you feel inspired, you take inspired action, and that's what gets you results. Those results give you more positive emotion, which inspires more action, and it's a never-ending cycle. But here's the secret. You need to embody the identity before you become it. So if you want to be a millionaire, you need to feel like a millionaire before you become one. So how does a millionaire dress? They look sharp. They take care of themselves. What does a millionaire eat? They eat clean, high quality, nutritious food. How does a millionaire sleep? They probably get about 7 to 8 hours, early to bed, and they probably read. You cannot become externally what you're not already internally. And by the way, this is exactly why I built the Creat OS Notion dashboard. It's just going to help you track all this stuff, identify the shifts that you need to make and the emotional states that you need to drive towards. Because if you're not measuring it, you're not managing it. Links down in the description. Now, I recently moved into this riverside apartment here in London with sick fucking views of the entire city because I wanted to program my environment to feel like a millionaire. I pay a huge amount of rent each month, but it's an investment in my identity. Okay, the book that's going to help you wrangle control over the law of emotion is 3 Magic Words by U.S. Anderson. Order the book, but here's an immediate practical step you can take whilst it gets sent to you. So start listening to guided meditations on YouTube. So search for Neville Goddard and Joe Dispenza. These guys are like the grandfathers of the shit. Listen to this stuff whilst you're driving, walking, fucking eating. Just whenever. You need to reprogram your brain. I do this most mornings before work when I'm out getting coffee, just to prime my energy and anticipation for success. Okay, law number 3 is the law of assumption. This is acting as if what's going to happen has already happened. What you assume to be true equals your actual reality. Let me give you a perfect example from my own life. So last year I had 3,000 Instagram followers at the beginning of the year, and I set myself a goal of 50,000 by the end of the year. I put it on my vision board, Canva shopped it, the number onto my Instagram profile. Halfway through the year, in June, I only had 9,000 followers. Most people would have just given up, okay? Because they were like, I've done nothing. I haven't managed to achieve anything. But I didn't hope I'd get to 50K. I assumed I'd already got there. I just hadn't reached it in my timeline yet. When I visualized my goal, I felt what it was like to have 50,000 followers. I felt proud. I felt excited. I felt and I embodied those emotions. And because I assumed that I was already there, I started acting like someone who actually had 50,000 followers. That meant I was posting daily, creating higher quality content, investing in better systems to be able to do things better. Halfway through the year, I invested in an Instagram editor, and that brought back about 90 minutes per day per post that I was spending on editing and posting. I redirected that energy into finding and researching winning ideas instead of just focusing on low value editing and posting work that someone else could do. Now, did I hit my goal of 50,000 by the end of the year? No, I missed it by about 10 hours. So on December the 31st, I was at 49,700 followers. And on January the 1st, I hit 50,000. I mean, I was one day late, but fuck it, I'll take it. I think that's pretty cool. I got there because I assumed it had already happened. Now, Sam Ovens is actually a great example of someone who did this perfectly. So when he was building his first business, consulting.com, he photoshopped his face onto, I think it was a Forbes magazine, as a billionaire. And he dressed like a billionaire. Go look at his videos on YouTube. He moved into a New York penthouse apartment and he embodied this character completely. Now, last month, Skool, his current SaaS venture, I think has basically been under the table valued at over $1 billion. So he's now officially a billionaire. He became externally what he was internally first. Now, the book for you to do this is You Too by Price Pritchett. Shout out to Jules who recommended this to me. So this is a high velocity formula for multiplying your personal effectiveness in quantum leaps. Now, your action steps now, you need to write down some tangible goals, okay? And when you write down your goals, you need to do them every day and repeat them. So I write mine 3 times a day in the morning and I'm programming my subconscious through repetition. Okay, law number 4 is the law of gratitude. This is the jet fuel to everything that we've talked about. Without this, none of the other laws matter, okay? This is about moving from scarcity to abundance, from fear to faith. Now, faith isn't religious, at least not for me. It's just trust, okay? Trust that your life and journey is working out perfectly for you. But here's where most people fuck up. And look, they just write lists without feeling anything. And I know this because this was me years ago when I first heard someone say I needed to gratitude journal. And of course I tried it and I was writing down things like, oh, I'm grateful for my parents. I'm grateful for my health. That wasn't gratitude. That was just me writing things down. Real gratitude is feeling grateful for the small things. Every single morning when I wake up, my very first thought is gratitude for having a roof over my head. I'm laying in a warm, comfortable bed that's safe, and I start every single day with that simple feeling that fuck, I am so fortunate to have this as my baseline. Now, the real test to see if you've actually made this jump is being able to turn potentially what most people would consider negative situations into positive situations that you're grateful for. So I'll give you an example. This morning it was raining when I went to go grab coffee. Now, most people would think shit weather, but I reframed it. It was the earth getting a shower. It's bathing. I was dancing and loving that the heavens were just dropping energy on me. Now, when you can reframe what pisses most people off into something that empowers you, that's when you've made the switch from scarcity to abundance. 2 years ago, when I had £5 in my account and my card would get declined buying £8 worth of food, I used to think, fuck, I hate being broke. But now, when I find 20p on the ground, I celebrate like I've won the fucking lottery. I hold it up in my hand, throw it in the air, catch it, and I thank the universe for making me a money magnet. And then I put it in my pocket and it sticks to my phone because my phone is actually a magnet. Here's your challenge today, okay? So go give someone 100 quid today. Go take out $100 out of an ATM and go give it to someone. Because when you start flowing money away from you, as if you have everything that you need now, that's when money really starts flowing back to you in tidal waves, okay? So the book for this is called Dollars Flow to Me Easily by Richard Dotz, okay? So this is the first book that I get all of my clients in Scale 20 to read. Now here's the thing, knowing these laws isn't enough, okay? So you need a system to implement them all. All the tactical stuff that I talk about typically on this channel means fuck all if you don't have a grip on this foundational stuff. So that's why I've developed what I call the 10.0U toolkit. This is everything that we've talked about today, but the practical application of these laws with exercises, routines, and all the stuff that I've used every day to transform my life in the past year. If you're ready to become the 10.0U version of you, go watch this video here. Okay, that was sick. See you in the next one.